Now, I still gotta get set up. Because the live feed. I can get set up pretty quickly. Now, nah, it's live though. You good?
Oh, you already? Oh, I ain't know.
We live.
Okay.
What up? What up, world? Just like that. You good? You still clicking? I guess Facebook is up first. We still got a few more systems to get together, so excuse us as we still get set up.
All right.
This is our 15th episode, yo.
Welcome everybody to the Black Kings podcast. You got me, Lloyd Ford, and you got Shern, Cutter Smooth, EP Digital, and we got some special guests in the house. The founders of GoCroozen. It's called GoCroozen, right?
Yes.
I don't know why I want to say something else sometimes, but it's called GoCroozen. We got Gordon and we got Joshua Taylor. Appreciate y'all coming through. Of course, we got some questions for you guys on what's going on. You know, we always want to bring nice and good black entrepreneurs through. You know, especially when you're working on some innovative. You know, so how about y'all tell us a little bit about yourselves? You know, what is GoCroozen, by the way, just to let the audience know.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Gordon Taylor, co-founder and CEO of GoCroozen. GoCroozen is a social travel platform that allows for individuals to connect one experience at a time, and that's really based on any mode of transportation. So we truly want to be able to connect people on two levels. The connection piece, which is the social side, we want individuals to be able to go to events of choice, be able to travel to cities of choice, or just go to a really local bar. And the next side of that is accessibility. And so we believe a world of access through different modes, as I guess small as a bike, right? I can bike with someone to the local bar or restaurant that I really want to try out. Or, you know, obviously the hot word in mobility right now is rideshare. So rideshare with someone, or carpool or cruise, as we like to say, to a location. And then as long-term vision as getting on a bus with a whole bunch of people going to a PV, TSU football game with a whole bunch of alumni. And lastly, being able to connect on flights with individuals and go to your end destination. So that's GoCroozen.
Okay, so it makes it easy. So if I'm always use PV, a lot of PV references because I went to PV.
Yeah.
So I'm a student. I don't have a car. I want to get back to Houston. I just get on the app, see who's going to Houston, what times they going, and just say, hey, can I hitch a ride? And set up a profile and stuff like that. And just it's easy, just as easy. For us grocery stores, because that's another big thing. I would say a lot of students had a lot of issues with getting to the grocery stores, getting their stuff going. So I can really see this being a problem solver, especially for PV that don't have a public bus system or anything like that can really help. So I would ask this: so what made y'all get started on this? So what kind of got y'all started?
Your story. It is my story. So we're brothers, if you can't tell, Joshua and Gordon Taylor. But really, it started off about over 2 years ago at the University of Chicago, where I went to business school. I haven't had a car for the last 5 years, so getting around was really tough. I lived in New York, Chicago, Africa, and now here in Houston. Getting around was just terrible. Actually, Josh is kind of my carpool every week and every day. So,
designated driver.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that was one. And then the second was I took a really long road trip from Chicago to Houston. And through that time, I realized that, people aren't sharing the trip costs long distance, right? From city to city. So think Houston to Austin, Houston to New Orleans, right? If I'm trying to go to Essence. And so during that long ride where I was falling asleep at the wheel and just didn't have a great opportunity as far as cost perspective, because I think the rental car was like $300 for one day, and then it was going to be $1,000 the next day. So I did it in 18 hours, right? And so just imagine that. But then realize that, a solution like GoCroozen should be around. And so we started it the next week, and it's been around for over 2.5 years now, so I'm really excited.
Okay.
2.5 years since it's been live, the launching of the app, or the idea?
The app. So what we did initially is we acquired an app, which was a message board essentially, to allow for people to coordinate based on messages, but now we do the full functionality of the car and all the things that you saw in the application, setting up the profile.
Yeah, no, it was pretty extensive. I liked it. As far as, if I felt like if I really needed to go somewhere, I was like, okay, I feel like it's something that people need to go look at.
Yeah.
So if you definitely have it, definitely go download the app, set up your account, go see what it's about for sure.
What's the app again?
It's called GoCroozen.
GoCroozen. Spell it.
CROOZEN.
CROOZEN.
Yes. A little unconventional.
So
Yeah.
my mom, she's an accountant. Our dad's in real estate. He had his own real estate practice throughout most of the 2000s.
Okay.
So they're both innovative in their own ways, but they always really pushed us to really believe that we could do anything that we wanted to do and what we were called to do. So their inspiration just giving us that confidence that we could leave our previous ventures and do something like this was
For sure.
they're doing really.
Yeah, I'll add something to that too. It's kind of funny, and Josh is speaking about, I think the beautiful side of it. The ugly side was telling mom that we're quitting our jobs, not taking a job after business school, all that stuff.
What? After we done paid all this
Yeah,
money?
exactly.
What?
Sacrificed
You can do
everything
anything you want
right?
to a certain extent.
We tell you to quit though.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
So it was tough. I remember sitting in my parents' bedroom talking to them, Josh and Erica. Josh has a twin, and so
I wish.
yeah, right.
Identical?
Twin sister.
Oh, sister.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
all
yeah,
right.
so-
It's a little different,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
What you say?
cool.
What, is she lesser than or something?
No, I'm just saying, you watch all the twin movies that you can
yeah.
do all the crazy stuff with. Come
Yeah.
on, now everybody dream about that.
It's all really cool. You learn how like females are and the different opposite
Sure.
sexes, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
I got two sisters, and I ain't twin, so it's still some
Yeah.
learning curve going on.
That's real.
Well, for sure. Go ahead.
But yeah, no. So I remember standing in their bedroom and telling my mom, it was close to graduation. I was like, hey, I'll go homeless for this venture. I'll do it. And I just remember her breaking down, crying, like, what do we do? Yeah,
we made them cry outside the box.
It was just tough, because I think she was just like always saying, we thought that we had you through. Now we're gonna worry about your brother and sister, even though they had great jobs. And now, the biggest thing was like, hey, you pulled your brother into this, right? Because you're the older brother. So it's interesting.
Influencing him.
Yeah. But I think it leads to a greater topic in the sense that, like, I think African Americans have this standpoint or, this time in history where we decided not to dream and not to do things that are a little outside the box.
For sure.
And I think it's the fact that our parents went through so much that they didn't really take those leaps of faith all the time and really went back to the comfortability, but they've allowed us now to experience these things. So we thank our parents a lot for that, for giving us that platform for that.
Right. No, I definitely get it. I mean, I get it. Like my dad had his own business for 30-something years, that's it. But I felt like he never looked to do the bigger things I thought he should do it. Now that me being older and being in business, I see all the different possibilities. And I'm like, man, why he didn't do that? Why he didn't go for that? But, I respect that, that he didn't have the internet. He didn't have things like that, the ease of finding information. Yeah. So I feel like he took it as far as he knew, and he graduated from college, went to TSU and things of that nature. So, it's little things. I feel like it don't matter how far as education, it just, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. And like you say, I'm appreciative that they taught me as far as he did go. Yeah. But nah, man, that's amazing.
Is there a rivalry in your family between PV and TSU? You say your dad went to?
No, my daddy was kind of the ones, whatever school that his kid went to, he would switch. Because even our high schools, I went to Yates, my daddy went to Booker T. Okay. So we were rivals all the way through. Yeah. So, that we north side, south side, but hey, when I was a line, he was a line. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, he rooted for me, even against his alma mater. Yeah. So, I felt that as love. Like, hey, you can root against. I still think, man, my son went against Yates. I don't know. We may have a little, Yeah. But nah, I'm just joking. But on the different tip, he definitely supported me in all my endeavors. So, I thank him on that for sure. So I can definitely get that. But one more question for you guys. What are some of the long-term goals you guys have for cruising, and what are the things that you plan to see in the future for it?
Yeah, I think with cruising, we just see a world where people are a lot more connected. In a world that's like so disconnected, of course, like social media and all the other distractions that are around, we want to utilize our platform and our application to create a world where people will utilize it to reconnect, right? Reconnect with who they are, their interests, their hobbies, and also very interesting people that they want to connect with. I shared this story. I got on a flight probably like 3 or 4 months ago, and I used to be in finance. My managing director was on my flight. Okay. And I hadn't talked to this guy probably like every week, probably like 10 minutes every week, right? But then I had an opportunity to connect with him on a flight from Chicago to Houston for about 3 hours, whatever it was. And that was powerful because he gave me some great tips on being an entrepreneur, because he was one before he started the firm. And you know, we really want to be able to allow for people to essentially buy people's time in travel, right? And really connect them to the things that they want to do, and have access to things, especially the underserved communities, not just ones that are, call it the 3rd wards or the 5th wards, or we live in East End, so the 2nd ward, but, you know, also underserved markets like Beaumont or Baytown or, you know, Lake Jackson, people that don't have access to airports and buses. We want to be able to create something for them, because very much so I have this mindset that the underdog is me, right? And so I want to be able to support those things. So that's what I have for a vision for Cruising. Of course, we want to be able to, you know, be able to take the company into another heights, or bigger heights. But the other thing too is like put Houston on the map for tech too.
Right.
You know, and that's something we want to do. Like we talk about it all the time with the city. We're saying, hey, we're going to be the biggest thing in tech that Houston's ever seen and will ever see. And so that's something that we really want to create here in Houston. And we've turned down term sheets in other cities to move to stay here. And so we're really excited about that.
Okay.
But,
That's real. Nah, I'm always, you know, I feel like we need to be innovative on a lot of things. I may have to connect with y'all on we creating Houston's first vote app, you know, Houston Vote. So we may have to get together and see how we can really make that big, because, you know, I feel like a lot of changes are made, you know, and a lot of us don't pay attention to the local elections that really affect us, you know. So this could be a big way to get younger people out to vote, because not a lot of young people vote in local elections or even know when they are. So, you know, people don't know it's a primary runoff going on today, you know, and like how many young people going out there be like, hey, how many vote stickers you seen on Instagram? I voted, not a lot, if any. Yeah, so, you know, it's just, I feel like it's just a lack of information and enthusiasm to that degree, not knowing if it really matters. You know, but kind of when you was talking about the low income and talking about the different cars, I mean talking about the different rides in your business and talking about Beaumont, that made me think of the Martin Luther King and the bus strike. Like, hey, we don't need the buses or anything like that. Like, we can literally pool our resources between our community and us and our own cars and vehicles and still make this thing work. You know,
monetize that.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that just it just made me think on a whole different level. But no, man, I appreciate y'all coming through. Definitely shout out anything that y'all want to shout out, any people. If you want to let them know how to find you guys, definitely let them know, you know, how to find anybody, your Instagrams, Facebook, whatever.
So our company social media is GoCroozen.
Cameraman. Sorry, come over here, because I'm looking, you got the back of their heads, and I'm trying to...
I know.
if y'all want to, you know, turn the seats a little bit, just noticing that.
So social media, you can follow us at GoCroozen, so GoCroozen for Instagram and on Facebook. And even on Facebook, we throw a lot of events around the city, like at bars for happy hours and different events. We're going to have some lawns events in the summer, beginning of the fall.
We coming through.
So keep following us, spread the word. Really want to build a community here in Houston and really just take over our city so we can take over Texas within the next year. And so,
And download the app too. It's again Cruizen, CROOZEN. So we're really excited about the community, like Josh said. So.
Cool.
I just posted it, so.
All right, well, we posted online. Let people know. We also gonna put it on our website, y'all logo and stuff, if that's okay with y'all. Let people know. Link it to y'all website. Let people know how to get to y'all and figure out more information. But we definitely appreciate y'all coming through. You know, all the power to you. Anything y'all need on the future, you know, on the business tip, I will be contacting y'all on other business stuff. So look out. I appreciate y'all spending y'all time and coming to take out with us. Appreciate it. Hey, thank y'all for coming through. Hey,
So,
y'all gonna look up Cruising?
So you stopping it? Because it's like we still got, you know, some time. I know you said, you know, you didn't have to stay, but if you want to stay, you're definitely welcome. You're not sure if the time.
He's cool with
Santa.
that.
They trying to join the conversation. You trying to get rid of them.
Okay,
I don't know what's going on.
I want everybody to join the conversation that want to be in it. Go ahead. I want to be considerate of people's time.
I appreciate that. Some people don't understand that.
For sure.
They said they some black kings too.
Hey. Yeah, come on. The more the merrier.
I love the name, by the way.
The Black Kings?
I love the name.
I ain't gonna lie, I was maybe like, is it too? Not yet. I was like, was it too strong? I was asking,
I just said it in a bar. I said it in a bar. We were with some friends or whatever, and one dude was obviously Caucasian. I was like, yeah, we're going to this Black Kings podcast. It's really cool, like, you know, whatever. And it was just interesting because I could see his face. It didn't make him uncomfortable, but it was like, yeah, Black King, what's up?
We do that too. Yeah, we do that too. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta let people know. Some people be like, oh, like, what y'all on?
Yeah.
You know, I have no problem in our business. You know, we do group economics. I say, hey, yeah, we do free advertising for all Black-owned businesses, and some people be like, really? Like, oh, you not minority? No, I don't say that because you know, the minority group got very diluted, especially you know nowadays. So I say, hey, Black-owned businesses. A lot of people be like, okay, you know, all Black? You know, they want to ask twice. I'm like, yeah, all Black.
That's what we support.
You know, so you know, but sometimes I know a lot of people in a lot of businesses that's not popular. But in the business that I'm in, it's popular because that's who I'm trying to target. Yeah. But I know, understand in businesses, hey, you got to do business with everybody, you know, in order to succeed in a lot of areas.
After Black Panther is popular.
After Black Panther is popular.
Right?
It's really true.
Black folks want to be black today.
Yeah.
Ain't no hiding, right?
Yeah. That's true.
But I'll put it like this. All right, we'll get started. Sharon, I got your topic first. Pretty much what is the plight of getting the police called on you and America's control over Black people. What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? I repeat it. Hold on, let me say it. The plight of getting the police called on you. You ain't doing a damn thing probably, or whether you did or not. Getting the police called on you.
Don't bring up Starbucks.
It's more than just Starbucks. The plight of getting the police called on you and America's control over Black people. All right. So what I want to do is go through a little, lesson. Let's go through a little act per se of once you get the police called on you, what actually happens, right? I know you said, who'd you just say? Mentioned the example.
Starbucks.
Starbucks, right? How many other Black men have been killed over that very scenario? Right, so I want to kind of go through it because they've been all different, but kind of stem from one single act of somebody just called the police on them just because. No real reason, but just because. So let's go through it. So somebody called the police, boom, they show up, you're there, now you have to explain it. All right? So first off, no, you don't really have to give up. You know, we all know, I'm not sure if y'all are lawyers, you don't really have to give up all of your information that whatever law enforcement or
what do you have
acting,
to give up? Do you have to give up your driver's license? No, because that's the first thing, you know, people will be like, hey,
it doesn't even matter.
Have to show your license.
Because it doesn't even matter. Because whether you say, yep, you give in, all right, you kind of, you don't have to, unless he says specifically what he's, I guess, apprehending you for, questioning for. There has to be a reason. If you can't state the reason, you don't have to give him anything.
But I think it's more of a mentality, though, because, you know, my little sister is a cop, so, and she'll be quick. I'll be like, do you have to give your license? She'll be like, yeah, I'll be like, do everybody in the car have to give their license if you're pulled over? And she'll be like, not really, but
they're gonna
demand it, you know, so it's not like you have to. No, I'm not gonna say you can't question it. I think it just kind of depends on who you are and how you handle the situation.
Who you are. So, you know, start with the color of your skin, right? Who you are. So
I think it's some Black people they can get away with it, you know, just depending on who they are. I think
All right, so that's what we're here to talk about. That's what we're here to talk about. The difference. Those who survive this situation and those who don't, right? We're going through it. So, you know, whether you have to give up all your information, what do you do or not, right? Yeah. So you just from that very thing, I don't want to, like, what did I do? I don't want to give you my ID. I don't even have my ID, right? So
it's even worse problem.
That's an even worse problem. But do you have to always carry your ID?
Yeah,
that's not necessarily.
I think I put it like this: if you're being any type of
incident, legally,
you
or saying
no,
because
I think legally. You don't have to carry it, but let's just say a situation arise.
You should.
Then at that point in time, they will require your ID. So at that point in time, you can say I don't need a license to walk around, but at that point in time that the incident popped off, guess what? You gonna need your ID.
Right.
And if they don't, then sometimes they can detain you for like up to 72 hours without having to charge you. So it just sometimes it depends on the discretion. I think we don't realize sometimes how much discretion a cop really has. Yeah. Like they can really be like, I'm gonna take you to jail, but a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of stuff that they don't want to go through. And not saying they should, I don't think they should do a lot of stuff.
So you're going through all those scenarios.
I tell all the time.
You're going through all those scenarios of possibilities. Like, if I don't have my license, I could go to jail up to 72 hours. Just from not having my license. I could have forgot it today. How many times do you forget your wallet? But you're supposed to have it. Right? Right? So just off of that one, you can go to jail for 72 hours. So if somebody calls the police on you, right, there's always that split second which everybody's mind, I'm not sure if y'all been to jail or not, right? You haven't been in jail. None of y'all been in jail. You been in jail? Well, I guess we won't say who. But and jail is the absolute worst thing you can go to. So if you've ever been to jail or know people that have been to jail, right? I guess it hits harder when you've been to jail. The minute that whoop whoop or the cops show up, there's that instance like that in which you go through
by experience,
all of those scenarios, bad scenarios that could happen at that one point in time, just cause.
I mean, I get that too, and I haven't been to jail. So I think that's
you haven't even been to jail. Just that fear.
I think your heart just kind of drop. You know, just when you see the lights behind you, just get that one little second of.
You go through the question.
Even though you can be innocent.
You can be innocent. The question of harassment.
Clean as hell.
If you feel, because like, imagine being falsely accused. You kind of get riled up. People are allowed to get riled up, right? Do you always have to stay extremely calm, zen, just perfectly behave, no matter what? You always have to. Does everybody else have to?
Yeah. I think it depends. I mean, I have a personal situation where I was driving back from Atlanta with a cousin. I was out there for business. We're meeting with some of the universities that we partner with, and we were coming to Baton Rouge. My grandparents lived there, and the cops stopped us about 10 miles outside of Baton Rouge, and this is like 3 a.m. in the morning. You know, I have a rental car. They think that we have drugs in the car because we're African American, and then you know, and it's just they're asking us all these questions. My cousin just graduated from Clark this weekend. They were saying, you know, how are you guys cousins? You guys don't look alike, like all this stuff, right? And I'm nervous. You know, I'm thinking I'm about to go to jail. Number one. Number two, I'm thinking about my business because I'm like, if I go to jail and something's wrong,
that reputation type,
lose your revenue.
I can go talk to students and I just got out of jail.
Exactly. And I just kept thinking in my head, my mom, I kept thinking she always told me that, you know, be careful, but at the same time, somebody could plant something on you one day, so be careful. And I just kept thinking about that. And so it was the fear, right? And then the last thing is it became almost this interrogation because more cops showed up, dogs were brought out, the car was lifted up so they could check under the hoods and everything. So I don't know how you react in that situation. Me, a person was very calm because I was just like, at the time, I just don't want to give them a reason to like allow for it to go on.
For anything to happen. You say give them a reason. A reason for what? What can happen? A reason for what?
I don't know. I mean, this is right outside Baton Rouge, right? So
he's trying to bait you to say something. That's what he's trying to
I mean, yeah, because it's like if you didn't act so calm, what could happen? I mean, you could get your ass whooped, right?
Something, yeah.
Right, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the dude spit and dip at my feet, right? I mean, I don't know what else to do, right?
I was hoping
on your feet.
Yeah.
You got spit on, and you had to take it. Not, hey, you spit on like that is, matter of fact, if I spit on you, I can have you arrested for assault. Yeah. And he spit on your feet. So imagine like, you still have to stay calm.
But I mean, I think that just depends on each person. Because
it doesn't depend.
I would hope that wouldn't ever, not that specific thing, but I'm saying like I haven't had any bad run-ins with cops. Fortunately, we knock on this fake wood right here. That I like it. Just happened. I feel like every cop. I even had a cop follow me from Prairie View all the way back down to Cypress, and then asked me, pull me over, and it was like, hey, do you mind if I check the car? And me, I was young. I'm not even thinking. I'm like, yeah, sure. Because I know I don't have nothing in there, and then all he did was, as soon as I said sure, he was like, oh, never mind. So just more of a willingness to let it happen. Exactly. And, just seeing, where my mind was. Exactly. I think if I would have acted up, my reaction would have acted more of a guilty, then he probably would have been like, all right, maybe he got something to hide.
So you have to fully give in for your safety and, I guess, success of getting out of the situation. Even though you've done nothing wrong, you have nothing, and you have the right.
I didn't have to say yes. I just wasn't thinking to say no because I was in. Nowadays, if they would ask me, I would say no just out of spite, just because. Yeah, nah. I got a lot of family that's in law enforcement, so I'd be like, nah. Quick. But me being innocent at that time, I wasn't pandering. I wasn't saying no yes sir or no sir, and I wasn't feel like I was doing anything to, I would say, being like I had the same, cause like I say, I hadn't had a bad experience with a cop, I see about all this stuff, but I still had a mentality like, yeah, it better not happen to me.
You know what?
That's just my attitude. But you're not saying it can't.
You know what?
They probably looking at this now like, he next.
I gotta put this in. One, you stayed in Houston your whole life.
For sure.
Coming from Pittsburgh, living in Maryland, and living in Florida, and coming to Houston, Houston is by far the best, like in terms of police. Like, I had a few run-ins with some police in Greens Point, or what have you. But that's just a bad area, and
they expected something.
Yeah. But other than that, like if you're outside of that, by far the police force and just the whole, I guess, Houston environment is way different and way more diverse. In
so you saying they nicer down here?
Yeah, more diverse. Like
in Texas, they nicer. Nah, I'm just
cooler. Not only like they're more relaxed. Like they.
You got to remember, down here in Texas, it's going to be a little bit different, I feel like, in every big city. In the Houstons, in the Dallas to a certain degree, in the San Antonios, even in probably a place like Corpus Christi, it's going to be a little bit different because these are, I feel like Hillary won all these big cities, but all these little towns are the ones that you got to worry about. It's these off-brand. I'm not saying you still don't have to worry about a couple HPD or Sheriff's Department, none of them, but at the same time, it's a little less tolerated.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay, the police officers can tolerate you more. They're more relaxed, I guess. They know you and know your type and are less likely, I guess, to stereotype you, I guess. Mm-hmm. But outside of these areas, it gets real. Florida gets real. And a whole lot of other places, like you see on the news, is a whole lot not nicer and will not give you any warnings. And even more so, will kind of throw traps in your way and confuse you. Like in my case, if an officer tries to give you, you're speeding. You're speeding. You should get a speeding ticket. Now, if this officer comes back with some other ticket that you have no idea about, do you question it or should you just take it? Right there, you're pulled over. After thinking about everything that could possibly happen,
I think it depends on what it is. Like, what's the ticket for? Now, if he pulled me over for...
damn well, if you question a police officer, that's flag 1.
I mean, that depends. I think it depends on the cop, bro, because I didn't question many of cops. Be like, all right, but mainly they come up front. Oh, yeah, I pulled you over for this. Outside of Houston. I haven't had too many dealings with cops outside of Houston, to be honest.
I don't question cops.
I had one in New Orleans, but that was like, he just was like, I'm just about to give you a ticket. That's about it. Yeah. It wasn't more of a like anything serious. I just haven't had a lot of interaction, so I can't really say. All my interactions with cops have been in Houston, and I know they ain't all good. I just haven't seen them ran into the bad ones. Yeah, that's all.
Man, y'all are lucky.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm lucky.
You say they're out there, but I just ain't seen one.
Go ahead. What's your experience? You look like you got one to tell. Go ahead. What you got?
I have a crazy story. I'll keep it short as possible. So me and my late mentor, I was in Austin interning with Dale 6 years ago. We went fishing, so it's like crack of the dawn, about to go to the dock. A car comes down to the dock. It's this lady, or this young lady, she's like half dressed. Long story short, she's been like beaten by her boyfriend coming from the east side of Austin. So she called the cops while they were in the car arguing, and basically the cops were tracking them. So 2 cop cars come down after we were talking to her for a couple of minutes. My boss was, at least, and I was like 3 feet back. He told me to stand back, and like he was comforting her, helping her out, seeing like what was going on. They come down. He's like, okay, cool, they can handle this. Let's unload the boat, right? We're gonna do our thing. Like 15 seconds later, there's 8 cop cars down there at this point, right? And they're like all facing us. And there's one on the side. Well, it's like really like the Hollywood movies. Like they all get out the car, guns like pointing.
Blazing.
And the cop car that came on the side because the water's over here, got out and like me and him are right here, and they told us to get on the ground. And my boss was like, "Hey, we're just shocked." I wasn't even scared. It was crazy. I was just
more like.
But I was like, "You, I had no idea I wasn't doing anything. We're trying to help this lady." And so, like, basically, this guy that came was like, "Get on the ground, get on the ground." His barrel of his gun is like less than 5 feet from my head. Whoa. And so, like, that was like the crazy experience, and it ended pretty quick. He's like, "Are you guys? Do you know him?" She's like, "Yes, he was helping us." So
I mean, they got cleared up pretty quick, but just the point they got our guns blazing is, I mean, that's just already.
And a lot of them had 2 guys in them.
It's good that you froze up. Because you do anything, like, they're liable to shoot.
I just got on the ground eventually.
I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I would have been stunned, probably pissed off, like, what the, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like well, that's kind of like if you know about the Florida football player that got in a wreck, when he went to a neighbor's house to ask for help and the neighbor shot him and
Correct.
killed him.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
You see, these are things I know about because, experience and you hear about.
Sure.
So, like, this becomes the black rules, things that you don't do, right? There's a reason why, you just automatically comply when you see police officers, especially as a grown-ass man. I know I ain't got nothing wrong, but go ahead and check, Mr. Officer, because I know if I say no, you're going to cause it even more of a problem and more of a hassle in my life, right? And this is where you kind of lead into, we understand all of those plights. Aren't those controls over black people? You can't even do what you want or stand for your civil rights as, I know you work with other races and heard stories of their encounters of officers, and do they line up with yours?
But I don't see it that way. I mean, I see what you're talking about. But even then, I feel like even if I did, me knowing my personality, I can't feel that way because that just make me more pissed off. I'm gonna just be more in more. I guess I'm not the protesting type, but I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna use my dollars, I'm gonna use my resources on the other tip to try to get it another way, Correct. But I won't allow no cop or anybody to make me feel like, oh man, I can't do what I need to do. Nah, I feel like especially if it's one cop and it's me and my word, knowing my reputation and how I carry myself thus far, he gonna have a problem. That's just how I feel, Whether I don't care what cop he is. I'm talking about me now. I'm talking about me now.
You now.
Me now. If somebody pull me over, cop pull me down, slap me aside the head, he gonna have a problem.
Just with you alone, or you got
you have a problem with everybody that every resource that I can bring to my disposal.
Every resource. You gotta have resources.
And me.
And you. See,
so, I mean,
everybody don't have that. Every black boy does not have that.
I ain't got no. What type of resource you think I got? I'm talking about people that I just know from places that I go and people connections that we done made in the last year that you know as well.
Business owners, entrepreneurs, lawyers, cops, doctors. I met a whole slew of black professionals this past year.
Right. You did that through networking. It didn't cost you nothing.
Correct. I'm talking about black boys though. When you was young during that encounter and everything. So the point I'm trying to get at is every black boy who has gotten the cops called on them or police encounter that are highly dangerous, highly anxious, anything can happen, your life, reputation, everything that you lived up for is on the line at that moment. And if you've made it out under that, you are one of the most excellent and perfect beings on this planet, because a lot of people can't do that. You have to stay calm like you did, extremely calm. Right? You haven't been trained for that, did you? Were you trained for it? You just had to know that naturally. Do you know how many others could cuss a cop out, won't do anything? See, they can do it. You can't.
I believe he can. It just depends on the setting and the place that you're in.
I disagree.
You disagree with?
You can't cuss him out.
You can't.
Yeah.
See, is he?
I didn't see many. I depend. Like I say, it depends on where you at. Now, if you in a rural country, a rural area, and you saying this, but I can be Houston downtown. I done seen people tell me like, "Motherfucker, you work for me." I pay my tax. Don't get me wrong. It depends on how many eyes are on them. How many eyes are on them. You can say because I can say what I want to say. And it just depends on how much you know what you talking about and if he gonna be able to take you or not.
In a private situation, encounter with a cop, it's just you and them, nobody around. How are you gonna act to ensure you get out of there, not getting your ass whooped, not going to jail?
I promise you, he ain't whooping my ass. I promise
you.
Just
gonna give in? Because a lot of times,
if I have anything visibly on me after the encounter, he gonna have a problem. I promise you. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all fine and dandy, but that's if. A lot of people I ain't trying to go through all of that.
I know.
So I gotta get out of this as best as I know how, and I'm gonna do that. There's
but I don't want people to feel like that you have to pander.
I'm not saying pander. I'm saying survive. And I'm commending every one of you that have done that, commending you for your excellence. Be proud of that. Don't
Why should you
it's
be
not
proud of that?
weakness. You are trying to survive out here, and there are, I'm telling you,
That just
he
seemed
may
like
not
more
have experienced-
conformity. Like that seemed like, so you shouldn't fight back because something is.
I think it's a twofold situation. So me and my brother's situations. I mean, Pearland wasn't the most diverse place when we
For
were
sure.
growing up, and so I think it's like it's traumatizing on one part.
Right.
Then the other part is seeing the future, like it's not worth it. And then the other part, like you said, like it takes a man to have restraint and have calm.
A man.
And then also my last thing, my best friend in college, we were in track together. He just graduated from HPD Academy, my brother. And so, I mean, I was there. A lot of the people that graduated out of that 234th class were not even, they were not even from Houston. A lot of diverse people, a lot of people from South America. So I think if we're gonna segue into solutions, it's about getting a diverse group of law enforcement and people with different ideas.
That have empathy.
For sure.
Mhm.
I mean,
understand their cultures.
And until you get there. So it's like there wasn't many of that before, but it's getting there. So during the interim, how should you act? So that's good.
But I mean, I put it like this. Everybody that I know that goes into that realm and that I know that's good people, I encourage them to keep going in that direction because I feel like we need good, reliable people to be there. I feel like mine won't get swayed into the culture of what policing is and not being in the benefit of black people. So I'm all for it as long as it's done in the right way because, like I say, I got family in law enforcement, so I tell them all the time, hey, don't shoot nobody. I will be against you if you done the wrong thing. Because I feel like right is right, wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't want nobody to feel like I would be biased just because I have family in there. Because I would tell them I'll tell them all the time, like, hey, don't be doing that. That look a little crazy. What the cops be doing, because I'm on your side fully, but at the same time, I'm on the side of right.
Yeah.
And I'm always gonna be that first. So whether that be family, blood, whoever you are, if you're doing and you're participating in the culture of what's going on and not really paying attention to what's right, then I'm gonna have a problem with it every time, And as long as we can stick to that, I'm all for it. But like I say, I haven't had no bad interactions with cops, so I would say my experience is very limited on that notion. So I can only, say what if and what I would have done and what I could have done and what this would have happened. But at the end of the day, I only had good experience, just for the record. But I know that all cops ain't good. I mean,
because
I stopped showing personality to cops a long time ago. I'm more dry now.
Straightforward to the point.
Yeah.
Emotion. See, that's how
it's
you
more
should.
them being nice to me. That's what makes me think like, dang, I must be running into dang good cops.
Yeah.
Because when you have that plan to be like, I'm gonna be like, make sure they ain't on no bull. They ain't be like, hey sir, how you doing?
Yeah.
I ain't mean to pull you over. I hope you ain't going nowhere important. So they so courteous and nice to the point you be like, dang, I want to hate you, but it's a slippery slope. I just make sure, hey, I'm treating them with respect. They treat me with respect, and we just keep it going, like that.
Yeah, I think to close out on my side, I think I'm all about people. I think it's just individuals, and I think at the same time, we have to show as citizens empathy as well, because I think it is a natural thing to see a cop and be upset. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why it's this us versus them, and I think that. Because I have had bad encounters, but at the same time I've had really good ones, like you said. And I think that if we can come from the standpoint of understanding, because I don't understand some of the things that happen in society and in the past of what we've dealt with, but I can understand where somebody comes into a situation nervous and scared and wanting to get home and all that stuff. So
So you're speaking on the cop's behalf or on the civilian's behalf?
on a cop's behalf, actually.
Yeah.
But isn't that true for the civilian as well?
I
Because the
agree.
civilian don't have a gun.
That's the point he's making. It's like if everybody can feel that way. Because I put it like this. Let's just speak straight up. If we walking downtown, you see three white boys walking towards you, you ain't gonna think no different. You gonna be like, you gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Hispanic people, you may be like three Hispanics, you may be like, but three big black dudes, you just gonna be ready. You gonna be ready. I'm not saying nothing gonna pop off, but your mentality is gonna be different. And I tell people, black people, like if you having a different thought, then think what a white person is thinking in their head. Just because it's not that we're more of a threat, But I think a lot of black people don't see white people as a threat.
Correct, and that's you know that is and that's literally racist. That's literal Stanford and Caltech proven racism. Like they built a survey on that to say even black people can be racist because you look at other black people in fear. They do not know.
It's true, but it's education too. So I had when I was in Chicago and going to school, I had a friend, went to Yale, really smart guy, all that good stuff. And we're walking down 47th, right? I was at University of Chicago. It's in the middle of the South Side, right? It's like
Chicago.
It's really fun, right? And so a lot of youth are doing their thing, all that good stuff, whatever. And it gets really rowdy on that street, after school's out. And so we're walking down the street. We're coming because we play basketball together. And Ed was like, hey man, come over on this side, man. Like, and it's because it's like a group of like 3 or 4, African American dudes coming down. They look tough, but for me, I'm like, whatever. I mean, that's my people, whatever.
Right.
And so I had to talk to him after that and educate him on the sense that, bro, that was really ignorant of you to say. Like, basically, that kid was me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in high school, I looked just like that. Like that, just because I can talk to you this way and have this blazer on, whatever it is that you feel about me.
Could have been like that, but I feel like this is kind of the same thing with cops. They don't know how to, I want to say, gauge their danger level when it comes to black people. They can't tell, like, hey, all right, he dressed a little funny, maybe I need to be worried about him. Or they can't discern that. They just see black people and they automatically on high alert.
Wait. You're saying they can discern between white people? So you're saying they can look at it and see? I
had to catch it real quick. I'm like, what? All right.
But seriously.
I mean, but that's just normal. And to me, I almost take that as a compliment. Like, all right, you see me as a threat, tough, maybe whatever.
True.
You can see 3 tall white boys and you just walk by with no problem by yourself. You don't even think twice.
Ego booster.
I think there's 2 points to that, guys. I mean, of course, we know the media and the construct of our television programming has played a big part into what we think about each race and culture across the world. But then all the suburban high school shootings is going on.
That's what they have.
Most of them are Caucasian boys, right? So if a cop is not even thinking about them and focusing on us, where does the problem lie there? So I think they have to think about that, and we have to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody bring it back to training, but I'm like, training, that's kind of a systematic bias. Yeah. I don't know if just an extra, handgun training, keep it in your holster and use your pepper spray is gonna really work for that, But I agree. Yeah. It's just a lot of stuff that have to be dealt with. That it ain't as easy as black and white, But for sure, I guess what we'll do is. You have any more on your topic?
I mean, I just commend every black boy, man, that comes into a police encounter, survives, because they know how to comply properly. Don't take it as a weakness, take it as a strength, because you're already strong. Just your nature puts people on guard. So you having that at the age of 15, 16, all the way up to grown man age, I commend you, Black Kings. Stay up.
Cool. Well, we'll take a brief intermission here just so we can get stuff rotated in, and we'll be right back. Appreciate y'all.